today's Tuesday, the 2nd, and although yesterday was Monday, the first of the month or whatever, like, it just still felt like a holiday to me. I don't know about you guys, but I think it was because obviously it was New Year's Day, and people aren't in their routines, just yet. Like, today, the kids are back in school. I'm feeling good about myself. I got back in my routine, and after being sick and stuff, the past 3 weeks with me and my family, it's just been like, oh my gosh, I need to get back to doing what I need to do. So, this week, I want to talk to you guys all about the 6 skills of the selling system. Now, if you've never heard of Party with a Purpose before, it's a training program that Scentsy came out with last year in 2017. Actually, last January at the leadership event that I was at in New York City, they launched it. Like, they kind of, it was more so launched like after that, but they kind of introduced it to everybody. So pretty much for about the past year, it's a program that Scentsy has. So for those of you, I know that there were a couple of you who came with me to Boston when we did the Party with a Purpose training. So you might have an idea of like what Party with a Purpose is, but that's not really what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about Party with a Purpose. We're going to be talking about the 6 skills of the selling system, because Party with a Purpose is based off of the 6 skills of the selling system. And the 6 skills are basically 6 skills in your business that you need to master in order to perfect your craft, and in order to, be a good business owner and be a good consultant, and or then be a good leader. You're not going to be able to train people or help other people along the way if you don't know these things yourself, which is why personal development and training and all that stuff is so important. So if you make that a goal for yourself, like a small goal every day or once a week or once a month or whatever in your business, that you are personally developing your skills, then I guarantee you can achieve so much in this business. And you're not only going to feel it in your business, but you're going to feel it in yourself, in your confidence, in your motherhood, in your, being a wife, like everything that has to do with that. Personal development is so good for you guys. So I know sometimes it's easier to just like skip past the live video. Like, I literally watched like 4 people join on and then they went off. Like, I know that it's easier to do that, but and not even just with my videos, I just mean with any type of training out there. Like, it's easy to just like watch a couple minutes of it when you're scrolling on Facebook, or if you're on YouTube and you're like, yeah, I don't feel like watching this, but like, actually take the time out to do that. And even if it's not videos, books that you can be reading, Google is going to be your best friend. Audiobooks, if reading isn't your thing. Like, it's so important to educate yourself on how to do things, not only in your business, but just, in general, and becoming a good person, because all of that stuff is going to feed off of you into your business if you do, okay? So I'm not going to go too much about that, because we know that training is important. So this week, I wanted to talk to you, like I said, about the 6 skills. So every day this week, I'm going to be coming to you live, and I know I said Monday I was going to be doing this, but I was like, oh yeah, and Monday's the holiday and I wasn't back in my routine. So starting today, every day this week around this time, I'm going to be coming to you guys and talking to you about just a topic of each of the 6 skills of the selling system, because they're income producing and they're going to be things that are going to literally help you grow your business, okay? So on your business references tab, okay, when you get time after this video or whenever, there is, if you haven't had this already, if you didn't print it out, it's called the Scentsy Party with a Purpose Training Workbook. Now again, I'm not going to be going into what Party with a Purpose is, because there's an awesome document right here that you can access, but it has the 6 skills of the selling system here so that you can refer back to it. And one thing that they talk about in Party with a Purpose is having 3 core values as a consultant, which is becoming an expert at your craft, which is what I talked about with like training, personal development. You can't train other people. And even if your intention isn't to train other people, ultimately, like, you're not going to be able to be good at what you do unless you are a master at it. And there's always room to grow. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here being like, yeah, I'm a master at parties. I'm not. But I know that I have to train myself in order to grow, okay? So be the best consultant that you can be. Get good at whatever it is that you're doing. so that you can feel confident about going into situations like talking to people about, hosting and joining and all that stuff, because those are all prospects, which is what we're going to talk about today. Being a good business owner and then a leader is a part of that. And I think when you have all three of those, you find your purpose. You know exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So that's kind of what they touch on in Party with a Purpose. It's an amazing training if you haven't been a part of it already. You could probably even go on YouTube and look up Party with a Purpose to see other trainings that other directors have done, because me, Colleen Regan, and Nicole Daly, we all put together the one in Boston. And Kristen and Chloe Cox came to Boston and kind of facilitated everything while we were the ones who organized it. And so there's a lot of directors out there who did things like that. And so you could probably find it on YouTube if you actually want to see a Party with Purpose training. And maybe we'll do them in the future here locally. I don't know. That's just kind of up in the air. So let's get back on topic, right? So prospecting. Do you guys know what prospecting is? Especially in the direct selling world, right? We hear prospecting a lot. Does anybody know? The three of you are on right now. Tell me if you know what prospecting is. I'm gonna give a second, and don't feel like you have to, you're gonna have a right or wrong answer. I legitimately want to know if you guys know what prospecting is, because I didn't for the longest time. I just heard it and I was like, okay, yeah, prospecting. I don't do prospecting. Let me tell you guys, when you hear the word prospecting, you think salesy. You think people are out poaching you. You think you just think of the used car salesman when you hear the word prospecting. And so for a long time, I was like, yeah, I don't use that word in my business, which I don't. I don't like to say I'm prospecting people. I like to say I'm building relationships with people, which is pretty much the same thing. But my intention, my outcome of building that relationship is where prospecting comes into play. Okay, and that's fine, Addie, if you don't, like I said, because I didn't either. But basically what prospecting is, it's focusing on the outcome of, a reason or whatever it is. You're focusing on the outcome of the situation when talking to people. So for instance, if you want to get somebody to host a party, you are if your intention is to get a party booked with somebody, you're going to be prospecting people with the assumption that you're going to get a party booked. And then you can go into ways of how you're going to do that. But if whatever your ultimate goal is, you have an idea of how you want that person to benefit your business or become an asset to your business, whether it's them joining or just striking up conversation to become a customer or whatever. Your intention is knowing that you're someday going to kind of pull them in, for the lack of a better term, and, focusing on the outcome through connection and through building relationships, okay? So when we say prospecting, I know it sounds bad, because it's I don't want people to ever feel like I'm just prospecting them or I'm poaching them. You want to make sure that as you're prospecting people, you are building relationships so that it comes naturally to you and so that they don't feel like they're being targeted. But you have to find ways to connect with people in your circle and know how they can be an asset to your business. So this all goes back to your list of 100, guys. When we say make a list of 100, it's really just thinking about people in your circle, in your life, people you've encountered, whether it's at parties, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's your hair lady or the person at the post office, people who you encounter every day that you can introduce Scentsy to, knowing the outcome of what you want that person or that situation to do for your business, okay? So, there's all sorts of different ways that you could be prospecting, but mainly it's just building connections and building relationships with people. So even if you have someone who's thinking about joining, it doesn't mean necessarily right there in that conversation that they're going to join. But you know that ultimately someday the outcome is going to be them joining. Whether they join or not, that's your intention. That's what you're doing. That's why you're continuing to nourish this relationship and grow it, right? Whether it's joining or having them host a party with you, or again, just buying Scentsy from you, or just following you on social media, whatever it is, there's an intention there. And it's not to say that it's a bad intention, for me, it's not like every person who I go ahead and talk to, I'm I only want them for business and that's it, and I'm just a monster, a Scentsy monster, and I'm like, yeah, this person's gonna join, this person's gonna host, this person, you know, I'm not doing that. But I know someday I'm trying to build my business. So I know that I need to make meaningful relationships in order for the, you know, in order to kind of plant seeds with people. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, does anybody have any questions right off the bat about what prospecting is? Or am I even making sense with that at the moment? Because like I said, it's important to make sure that you know that this is a relationship business and it's important to build relationships. But if you just go into this blindly and just try building relationships with everybody just for the sake of building relationships without actual true intention as to why you're building relationships with people, or not that that's the end goal, but I mean, it's all, you guys, it's like a kind of, it all goes hand in hand. Prospecting, thinking about how somebody could be an asset to your business, focusing on the outcome of what that's going to be, but also at the same time building relationships so that it's natural and it's not just some fake thing that you are prospecting somebody to join your team and you really could care less about their life. Okay, so it's all about you know, just being you know, just genuine with them and knowing eventually where you'd like to take that relationship. Okay, so a lot of times, like for me, for instance, if I'm going into a party, like a home party, right, I always have an intention, a goal. You know, obviously to get sales, like I want to make sure that everybody there at the party, like this is my intention going into it. This is what prospecting would be. Me going into a party, this is just an example of, you know, going into a party and knowing that there's 10 people at the party, right? My goal, my intention is to make those new people my customers, my contacts. Obviously, them placing an order, but then after that, my follow-up is what comes after that, because I know with that, I'm going to be making new connections with that. It's not just, oh, hey, these people bought from me, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. Let's hope that they buy someday in the future. No, it's with intention that they're going to be placing an order with me, and I know that when their order comes in, I'm going to purposefully, like, package it really good. I'm going to put samples. I'm going to put my information about hosting, joining, whatever it is, following up with them to make sure that they love their order, being intentional about how I'm doing that, so that they see me as a person and as their Scentsy consultant to be the person that they go to Scentsy for, right? That would be like gaining new contacts. Like I'm prospecting them to gain contacts. Also, if I'm going into a party, you know, I can think about how many parties I want to get booked. Now, I generally go into a party with like 3 booking bags, hoping to get all 3 booked. Usually about 1, if I'm lucky, 2 parties will get booked. But that's great if the party get booked, but my intention is listening for cues and thinking about ways that I can get parties booked through people. Like, now, who at that party could I be around, or could I see that I think might be a great host, or, you know, who that I could then strike up that conversation with them, okay? Because I'm not just going to go in and be like, okay, guys, who wants to book a party? Like, obviously, there's a whole, you know, way to do it, especially through parties, or even anything in general. It doesn't even have to be at a party, right? It could be anybody who's purchasing from you. It could be anybody who's never tried Scentsy before. It can be, I mean, just anybody that you're literally trying to introduce Scentsy to, whether it's getting a party or hosting, whatever, right? And knowing that the intention is there for them to host, like you want them to host a party. So how are you going to do that? You have to listen for cues of like what would make you strike up that conversation, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I feel like you guys like are just listening to me. Am I actually making sense? And I know that these comments are kind of, I don't know if they're coming up or not. Maybe I should pull it up on the computer. But either way, you know, just like knowing how you're going to strike up a conversation with someone about Scentsy, whether it's them joining, hosting, or buying from you, okay? So, you know, like if I had somebody that was on my list, and thank you, Alex, if I had somebody who was on my list, like who was interested in hosting, and they wanted to, and they were like, oh my God, I love that diffuser, I'd be like, girl, like I'd check in with them and I'd be like, girl, listen, I know you said you love that diffuser. Have you ever thought about hosting a party? Because you could totally get that half off, especially this month. We have double half offs and you could get that with like a $200 party or however you want to word it. Now, of course, that goes into booking and stuff like that. But like just knowing that the outcome is that's the reason why I don't want to say the word poaching because I would never poach anybody, but that's the reason why I am following up with that person. I'm building that relationship. I'm connecting with them because ultimately I want them to become a customer of mine or an asset to my business or to join my team or whatever the case is. You have to like prospecting is all about building relationships and connections with people with intention, not just flying by the seat of your pants, you know? So yeah, like I said, it's all about like building those relationships and knowing what the outcome is going to be. Now, things like this are going to be things that just take time. Like I said, it's not going to be like you're going to be talking to somebody about joining your team or hosting a party or buying Scentsy or whatever it is. And usually it's like recruiting mostly that takes time, you know, the most time. But it's things that happen over time. So you have to make sure that you are nurturing these relationships with the people that you're encountering. So again, through follow-up, checking in with them. Hey girl, how are you enjoying your Scentsy? Just want to make sure that you're loving it. Like I have so much follow-up to do right now after the holidays. I'm going to be going through my binder today and basically just checking in with people just to see how they're enjoying their holiday orders that they got from me over the holiday. Because if I sit here and just let it be and I don't check in with them or anything like that, then what good is that doing for my business? And not only for my business, but for the relationship that I'm building eventually, you know, with these people. I had it was either November or December, I literally had 4 referrals that were local to me that people referred me to. Like 4 new customers that I got that other customers referred me to. 4 of them, okay? So these are 4 people that I've never met before, but they placed an order with me because somebody referred them to me. So now it's my job to keep them as a customer. That is my intention. That's the outcome of what I want to do. Now, whether that turns into them joining or hosting or whatever, I want to make it known that they are in my Scentsy circle, like that they're going to be able to come to me whenever that they need Scentsy, you know? It's about being proactive and not just, you know, hoping that they come to me or not hoping that they love their Scentsy so much that they're going to call me back, you know, to place another order. It's me being intentional about it. And I know that you guys heard me talk about the word intentional a lot. This is kind of side note, but this is my word for 2018 because I really want to be very intentional about the relationships that I'm building this year and not just like flying by the seat of my pants or things like that. Like knowing, okay, this person bought from me and now it's time to follow up. And you know what? Maybe next time I follow up and she's planning on getting a lot of Scentsy, I could say, hey girl, listen, you're thinking about getting all this Scentsy. Have you ever thought about hosting? You get up to 50% off the products and you can, or however much free off plus half off, you know, plus 50% off. It's with intention. You know what I mean? Like, so think about the list that you have. Think about the connections that you have in your circle now. Make your list of 100 and really think about how these people in your life can be an asset to your business. Now, you guys, I'll be honest with you. As a new consultant, I didn't make a list of 100. I literally did not make a list of 100 when I was a consultant. I probably made a list of like 5 or 6 because I first started off with my friends and family and I was like, oh yeah, these people are gonna come, whatever. But like, I never really stuck to it, you know? Like now, when I, you know, as the relationships that I've built over the course of the past 2 years, you know, I just will make lists here and there, whether it's called a list of 100 or not. There are people that I'm putting on a list to say, like, I'll have like a booking list going of everybody who I thought would possibly want to join Scentsy. This here is actually my party binder, and I have a tab here for all of my leads. These are people who have once told me that they